Welcome to the Ocean Race Europe at the start of leg 2 from Cascais, Portugal to Alicante, Spain. Our 12 teams are gearing up for the start and what will be a downwind blast for the next 10 hours to begin this 600 nautical mile race. Well, we begin tucked up close to the shore. This is going to see a very light and fluky conditions, but from the start line, a reaching start, out into the breeze and the waves as well. There's going to be one mark, most likely a bear away, possibly a jibe, but it looks like the stronger breeze is going to be offshore. So once the boat's straight set, they are then heading down south and off onto the 600 nautical mile course. And here we go into the start. It is linked out, coming down well. They've got a good bit of breeze underneath them. Bure Valley late to the line. Offshore Team Germany underneath, linked out with a chance to luff. 11th Hour Racing now get their sails out. All of the IMOCA 60s look like they're going to be a little bit shy on the gun, but that's where that conservative nature comes in. Linked out, slowing down for those final few seconds. 11th Hour Racing got their time on distance well. They're rolling straight over the top with Coram as well. So it's the Americans that get the best start in terms of speed. Linked out at the leeward end, the end that they wanted, and they are now away as well. Linked out, 11th Hour Racing and Coram all off the line and racing. And it would have been very easy to look at the scorecard at the beginning of this event and think that Offshore Team Germany weren't really going to focus, or weren't really going to feature, sorry, Sally, but I mean, not just in the coastal race yesterday, but there have been moments, even on leg 1, where this boat has proved very capable.
Push the boat as best to their ability, make some really smart decisions on the navigation and tactics.
Well, the VO65's lining up for the start. 14 knots of wind from the north, and we're going to be seeing these boats pushing pretty hard. Right now it's J1 up with what looks like the masthead code 0 furled up on all of the boats, but ready to go once they get off that line and they see what that angle is with the breeze to that first mark. Sailing Poland behind, Mercury Foundation Racing Team managing to get back into the mix with Acton Nobel Ocean Racing. And that windward angle for the Austrian Ocean Race project is working incredibly well. They've actually been able to bear away on a nicer angle when those gusts hit. They can take that gust for speed, and they've just rolled over the top of Childhood 1. The boat that's struggling at the moment is Mercury Ocean Racing. They are Mercury Foundation Racing Team, sorry. They are at the back of the fleet at the moment. Early days, and of course we have a big downwind to go, but in the coastal race, it wasn't the downwind that favoured Mercury Foundation. It was actually Acton Nobel Ocean Racing. They were the boat that did well. So the Portuguese team will be wanting to keep in touch. And as I say that, look at that. Acton Nobel Ocean Racing is their turn to suffer. Childhood 1, they now go down, and they're going to be the first 2 boats with the breeze and moving well. And if you're on board the Austrian race project, you're a young sailor, you can't believe how well you did in leg 1. And now, if you want to see the other boats, you've got to look behind you. There was a boat on anchor, 11th Hour Racing, luffing up to go round the anchor line. They're still sailing with the boat that was on anchor now safely to leeward, but unfortunately, just getting out of view of 11th Hour Racing, and the boat comes pretty close to their line. Still moving at the moment, and I mean, Sally, we've seen this before. In fact, actually, on the finishing stages of leg 1, we've seen with the IMOCA 60s, it's not just in terms of keeping your eye on the bow and the beams. There's an awful lot sticking out the sides of this boat. I mean, I think I should point out to anybody at home that Sally's nose was pressed up right up to the screen there, as I'm sure you were at home watching this, trying to work out whether we could see anything on that left-hand foil. We are on board now with 11th Hour Racing, and there you can see on the left-hand side, I believe that's Simon Fisher, the navigator, just going forward to have a little bit of a look. It would be disastrous at this point in the race, this early on, if you get to a situation where structurally you've done a little bit of damage to the performance of your boat. And while we say that, look at this, head sails furling up, Sally. That is not a good omen. sailing Poland. This is a young team. I mean, on their roster, they've got two 16-year-olds, two 17-year-olds. It is a group of very passionate and very skilled sailors, but really lacking in that offshore experience, and amazing to see them. If you are a young sailor on board this boat, who better to be looking after you in these conditions than someone like Bauer?
That's true, and it's a little bit of a surprise because you have the dynamic of the foils on the 60s, which should just create easier speeds, basically, and easier modes. But I think what you have in the 65s is the maneuverability and the knowledge about pushing the boats with a fully crewed team. And I only expect the 60s to gain knowledge and gain speed and overall faster miles as these legs go on, and for sure into the ocean race. But you know, right now the 65s, like you said, they're proving to hold up out on the ocean, and obviously they've been around the world twice, so we know they're durable. What also means for the teams is that they can just push them as hard as possible. It's actually, you know, it's not impossible to break those boats, but it is hard to push them beyond their limit, which is, you know, a quality that can be really great out on the ocean. You don't have to throttle back, whereas the 60s have to decide when that moment is. They sure do, and here's the continuation of them coming downwind. They're gonna basically meet this transition zone as the breeze is trying to go from the north to the east. The trickiest part of the race here is gonna be through the Gibraltar Straits, where they have to decide around this exclusion zone. They're gonna meet some big waves and big breeze head on. Be a lot of tacking, upwind, and maneuvering, trying to get all the way to Alicante as the breeze basically fades out and can be really patchy.
The Austrian Ocean Race Project, the boat that struggled for pace on leg one, struggled for pace in the big downwind, and then held their nerve and kept their cool and found their way through the light winds into the approach to the Cascais, doing so well. Currently at the top of the VO65 scoreboard. Are they going to be able to hold everything? We hope you've enjoyed the racing. We're going to be following the boats daily and keeping up to date with who is winning, who's doing well out on the course, and the challenges that all of these boats are going to experience over the next 600 miles. And we'll see you soon.